Free your staff to focus on high-impact work while offering round-the-clock assistance to every student. With Element 451, you can deploy AI agents that reason, act, and provide support at scale, solving problems, analyzing data, and crafting personalized outreach instantly. These AI agents expand your team's abilities without replacing the human touch, allowing staff to dedicate their time to what matters most. Unlock the future of workforce enablement at element451.com. Welcome to Breaking Silos, a podcast that shines a light on the incredible partnerships happening across campuses every day. I'm your host, Shane Baglini from Muhlenberg College. Join me every 2 weeks for discussions with some of the best minds in higher ed marketing, enrollment management, student affairs, campus leadership, and more. Breaking Silos is part of the Enrollify Network, a robust collection of podcasts designed to help higher education professionals like you grow. Explore our other shows at enrollify.org or check out some of my personal favorites linked in the show notes below. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the next generation AI student engagement platform, helping institutions create meaningful and personalized interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com. Welcome back to Breaking Silos. My guest today is Adam Stoltz, Director of Enrollment Marketing at the University of Idaho. Hey, Adam.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
I'm well. We made it. We got through sickness and I was on paternity leave. We've been trying to have this conversation for a while, so
Yeah.
I'm excited to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me and looking forward to some conversation today.
So Adam, we were just talking before we hit record here about kind of the evolution of enrollment marketing at the University of Idaho, and the main thing we're going to talk about today is the website. But talk a little bit about kind of the website project, certainly, but maybe it sounds like a culture shift around enrollment marketing at the University of Idaho.
Yeah, I think it goes back to really about 2019 when I first arrived here. Also, coincidentally, new president at the same time, same day, and everything. It was a real big focus. We were not getting the enrollment that we wanted. We were having issues of just trying to get more students and trying to be competitive in the marketplace. And so it was a real big change from what we were doing. And one of the first things that we worked on was like, President was number one thing, I want enrollment to be better. I want marketing to be shortly right behind it. And we got to be able to tell our story better. Essentially, from that is kind of where we started this journey of transforming the way that we do enrollment and the way that we do marketing here on campus. A little bit about my role. I report to our chief marketing officer, but I'm embedded within our strategic enrollment management area. And so I kind of have the big picture lens of what's going on in the marketing world, but also what's going on in the enrollment world. So I kind of sit at leadership levels and both. And that's really helpful because I talk about this a lot when I have an opportunity to. You see in a lot of times in higher education, it's left hand doing one thing, and it's the right hand doing the other. And a lot of times sometimes they're parallel, and sometimes they're together, and sometimes they're way off in different branches. And I think that was where I think I'm really successful in this role because I have the background of both. I've been in enrollment management and in marketing for nearly 25 years, and so the big change was we want to do things different. We have to have a better student experience, and that really starts in a lot of different ways. And so we've had iterations of changes kind of throughout the last 5.5 years or so. One of the first things that we kind of looked at was, we didn't have a virtual tour. And people were like, well, if people just get here, they'll love it. Well, yeah, but you got to have people interested in coming here first, because once we do get people to campus, it really does sell itself. We have this amazing campus. It's actually older than the state of Idaho. Just beautiful, ivy everywhere, trees, the landscape, great architecture, and really the other big thing is the culture of the people. The people are here they want to be here. We care about our students, and I think really when people come and visit, that's kind of the big thing that people notice. But that being said, the web experience, we have to have the number one way. How do people and how do students find out about the web? There's all kinds of research out there about different sources and what's the most influential. The number one thing is all about the website. And so we had to make it more student centric. We had to find ways to make things easier. And we'll kind of talk about some of the things that we did there, but really just making sure that we knew in the landscape that we're headed into, enrollment cliff challenges, different opportunities for students. They're applying more places. They're visiting less, but at the same time, we all want more enrollment. That's how we kind of the university thrives and how it works. And so really the big thing was this kind of culture change of making the student first, putting a lot of time and effort into what we do for enrollment and all the different efforts that we do with marketing. And really, the biggest key, connecting the two. Without connecting the two, we would not be in the success mindset that we are today.
I really like that you're reporting directly to the CMO. Has that always been the case for you? Is that a kind of part of this shift? Because I mean, I think more and more, I would like to see enrollment marketing and university communications and marketing be one of the same, because we're all, at the end of the day, we're all being judged on enrollment. So I really
Yeah.
like that setup.
Yeah, essentially, when I got here, it was kind of more of a dual approach. And when one of our former CMOs was here, made that change, and then I kind of became more of a full time university communications marketing staff member. Again, I'm embedded in within the strategic enrollment management area, and so with that, I have insights to what the vice provost and vice president of enrollment is looking at and wanting to do, our executive director of admissions, things like that. And so that kind of gives me, well, this is what's going on over here. One example in the last year with the FAFSA debacle, and we made this on the web change real quick, was we knew the FAFSA was going to have an issue, and we changed the website immediately as soon as we knew to have how to connect with financial aid office, frequently asked questions, just a place that was very prominent and really easy to find for our students and families, and how to connect to the financial aid office to make sure that wasn't an issue. And really was in the state of Idaho was really looked at as a kind of a leading way to do it, and people saw that and commented on it and really appreciate it. And we ended up having this is our third record enrollment year, and that's a big deal for us because we're actually, like I mentioned earlier, we're older than the state of Idaho. And so to have your record enrollment 3 years in a row, really huge deal and something we're quite proud of, and we're looking to do more. So, and that's kind of why we're changing the website to be this better student experience and really trying to help them navigate the process much easier.
Yeah, that's great. Well, first of all, congratulations on the
No, thank
record
you.
enrollment. It's always good to see colleagues be able to celebrate that. I know times are tough for for many of us around higher ed, so that's great. So this shift to kind of this admissions prospective student focused website. Tell us about the project. What were some of the main goals, outside of obviously wanting to provide a better experience? But how did this tie to sort of the business goals of the university?
Yeah, kind of like I mentioned when our new president came in, his big goal was we got to focus on enrollment. We have to focus on how we're marketing ourselves and how we're telling that story. And kind of from there, it kind of really kind of changed the culture of how we do things and how we looked at ourselves and things like that. I think we really had to kind of be really transparent on, hey, we're doing these things. We're going to start changing how the website looks like. We're going to start changing whenever we do a newer campaign or something that's coming out. We're always kind of sharing what's new and how it's working and the why. Like digital ads, for example. A lot of times, like I don't ever see the ads. You're all not doing anything. Well, those ads are not geared towards you, and so we kind of have to share the things because a lot of people, I didn't see it. I never got anything in the mail. I never got this. I never got that. I never saw that, and so y'all must be not doing anything. And so part of that education that we noticed, and one of the things that I think I really trying to change when I got here was kind of that internal marketing and communication that we do, and making sure again, left hand, right hand, we're doing this, we're going to do that. Come join us, and that has really kind of changed the way that we do things because now we're not kind of stepping on each other's toes. We're not duplicating the messages. The students at the end, they're only seeing the messages that come from the university. So it could be coming from one department or another, but they just think it's the University of Idaho. So they don't know that there's different areas and different departments and different colleges and all these different things. They just know that the university has contacted them. And now that we know that, we use Slate to do that. We were able to kind of streamline the message. We're not sending the same message. Before I got here, we would talk about like an admitted student day. Well, financial aid office might send something about that day, the housing area, the colleges, central. And so like students were like, you already talked to me about this like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different times, and really kind of streamlining that messaging and really making sure that the students, they know what they need to do, but not over communicating as well. So I think that's the kind of the big thing and big change for us.
You mentioned Slate. Tell me about integrating Slate into the site in a more robust way. You mentioned this before we got on here. Why was that such an? I mean, I can guess why it is such an important piece, but how'd you go about it, and kind of what was the motivation behind that specific piece of things?
Yeah, I think again, just that right hand, left hand side of things where Slate helps us do that. It helps us measure everything that we do. And I think that's one thing that we do a really, really good job on. The team that I work with, we have our AARs, our after action reports, and we're always tying metrics back to what we're doing. So that might be digital ads, that might be emails, that might be just different portions of events and things like that, where we're using Slate to do those things. And before, we might have, as an example, we had a website that would collect information, our request for information, our RFI, and it wasn't tied to Slate. We would then upload it maybe a month later, or usually monthly.
Yikes!
Sometimes people would forget. Sometimes it might be a little delayed. And so we're not getting that like instant personalization. And so we, as another example, we integrated with our communications center. We started with the call center and then kind of upgraded to a communication center, where if a student comes and fills out a request for information, most likely they're going to get a call back or some kind of text within 24 to 48 hours. That's one thing that we've kind of done a little bit differently. And so really created that if you're interested in us, we're interested in you. We're going to follow up and start communicating with you as soon as possible. And so I think that's a big change for us as well, where I know a lot of places, we do research on other universities and kind of see where and how students are being communicated, how quickly are they being communicated, what's being communicated. And so we're looking at our competitors and also ourselves all the time, just kind of doing analysis on like, maybe that email didn't perform as well because it was too long, or maybe it was the subject line. We'll do testing on just even like another example we're trying this year, getting away from like these really stylized emails and really just using plain text. And really, we've seen a little bit of uptick in that as far as replies and opens and interactions that way too. So we're always just trying new things. I think the other thing with Slate really was connecting all the different events. And so, like as an example I use there, a college might have an event, but before it was outside of Slate, and so they maybe get 100 people, 200 people on campus. We didn't know about it. We weren't communicating to the students. And so now we have that form an event in Slate where if a student signs up, they're getting immediately all the information and all the communication that we would send if you had filled out a request for information. And so that's a big change. And so it took a while, but during the website change in the last few years, and really was kind of COVID, the silver lining of COVID was we had to work differently. We had to partner more, and that kind of pushed us to where we're using Slate more. So we have college and program visit days, and so all the colleges are in there. We have music festivals. We have our honors program in there. Financial aid is in Slate. And so all of those are ways that we can interact. Admissions counselors can do one-on-one events and meeting and things like that. And so all those added together, we now know, well, left hand is doing this, right hand is doing this, and we can kind of see how much engagement we have. We can see where students are interested in things, and then we can start curating more personalized content for them based on what they're interested in. And so if they're interested in the college and engineering and athletics, we know that we can kind of help push some of that content towards them and kind of give them the experience that they're looking for.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, it's the point of the CRM, right? Is to
Exactly.
capture all this information, and I think you're not alone in that. A lot of different moving parts of the university were not communicating in the same way, and so it sounds like great progress. And it kind of leads me to my next question about this web project. I'm in the midst of a website redesign right now, so we're kind of on the same wavelength. But talk
Yeah.
about kind of what players were involved in the project. How did you go about finding a committee, working group? How did you manage those relationships across campus?
Yeah, those are still ongoing. The next iteration of the website is integrating with CDP, a customer data platform, because we want to take the website to the next level of where we need to go, and really, again, that personalized experience. So if you look at the website today, it's not going to be exactly like that in the future. So, like right now, as an example, if you go to our website, you're going to see call to actions that are really clear. And we did that uh, based on, we have, like I mentioned, I work with our chief marketing officer, so I'm sitting on that side. On that side is our communications team, our web team, our marketing team, our communications team. And so I'm able to work with that team, but at the same time, go work with our enrollment management team. So we have people from each team on there, plus our IT staff, all the different types of parts of campus just kind of getting involved. And we're steadily kind of just going about and working with all different types of teams to then, we're mainly focusing on the homepage at the moment. And then we'll start going into different areas. And so that could include like financial aid, career services, going into the colleges. And each area has a kind of a web team lead that's helping them do that as well. And so um, the big thing is really kind of, as we work on like SEO and working on that search engine optimization, is we're getting rid of pages and things like that are old and outdated, and really trying to find what's the best journey for those students. And so, like I said, we've had the first iteration of where the homepage now, we talk about how to request information. Like, it's one of the first call to actions. We also have join our Zemi community, and so that's another big one for us. I mentioned earlier in the conversation, we want students to see what the university is going to be like before they even get here. And so virtual tours and kind of seeing all the different things that we're doing communication wise to kind of get students interested. But we want to build that community too. And so we're introducing how to build that community. Social media is really important for us too. And so we're doing a lot of work on that and then connecting that back to the web. And so we have our social team. There's just so many different people involved in this process. It's really just, at the end of the day, we want to get more students here. How do we do those things? And so we can go ask each team member, well, how can you help us get more enrollment? Tell me how you think you can help. And that kind of really creates that buy-in of, oh yeah, so if I do a better job at laying out a website, that's going to be helpful. If I can do a better job of SEO, that's going to help out. If I can create something that's connecting students, that's going to help students out. But then again, back to the homepage of where it currently resides and how it looks now, is we really want to streamline the process. So we have, what kind of student are you? I am a first year student. I'm a transfer student. I'm a graduate student, or I'm an international student. Those are kind of our four big buckets of students that we feel like they'll fall into one of those. And then from there, it's, I'd like to, as a student, I want to do this. I want to be able to apply now. I want to estimate my costs. I want to explore financial aid. I want to live on campus. I want to visit campus. I need help with the FAFSA. I want to enroll in classes. I want to take a tour or a virtual tour. Those are all the things that the students are looking for, and we want to make them really, really easy and really right up in front and in the student's language.
I love that you're saying, I think a lot of times we assume what the student wants when they get to our website. We think, oh, they're interested in, our brand more than what we have to. I love that you're phrasing this as, what would you like to do? And then giving, I'm guessing there's data behind these 8 options, but giving them the most common actions to be taken instead of just assuming the thing that they want to do when they get to the website.
Yeah, I think I see a lot of times in higher education, it's all about what the university is, and it's a good thing, because it's some of what we kind of brag about and what we talk about. But really, it's the student's perspective and what they want. If we can't meet what they're at, there's so many other different options that they have. The other thing that we have on our homepage is degree. What do you want to major in? And so we were one of the first ones to kind of pioneer the finding your degree and things like that. And so we really showcase that quite a bit. But we also talk about like what it's going to cost. So we know that students, they want to know, can I get in? Will I fit in? Where will I live? Where will I eat? What will I study? Those are just some of the big things. And so we talk about value, talk about cost. We talk about finding your friends. If you don't have a community where you're going to college or where you're going to kind of live for the next 4 years or longer, that's really difficult. So we're actively also working on the retention side too. So that current student, we're also trying to connect them and find ways for them to kind of continue to be involved. I always talk about this a lot. We're not in the business of recruiting students. We're in the business of graduating students and having them become successful alumni. And so I think that's really, really big. We want people to find their fit. We want people to find their friends. And we want them to have a great experience. And so, um, again, that's that community that we try to find, all those different things wrapped up right on our homepage and leads you to where you need to go.
Want to create an AI workforce for your institution? Learn how to design AI agents for advising, data analysis, and student engagement at the AI Engage Summit. This free virtual event in February will equip you to manage complex, multi-step workflows across departments. Register now at enrollify.org/engage.
Yeah, it's really well done, and kudos on the placement of this RFI form being directly on the homepage. I love it.
Yeah, that was another big one. Like I mentioned earlier, we kind of had it in the past where it wasn't directly connected, and it would get downloaded later and then uploaded and maybe later after that. And so now it's as soon as you do that, you're going to start getting communication immediately. And so that's a big change for us as well. And because we work with the colleges, if there's information from a college that a student's interested in as well, be it maybe they're interested in like a college and engineering day or a college of business day, they're going to get information on that. And so it's really kind of curated content for what the student is interested in as well.
Yeah, that's great. Joel Goodman was on the show a couple episodes back, and we were talking about this, and he mentioned, a lot of times as institutions, we assume that students are more interested in our brand than they actually are. What
Yeah.
they're interested in is, do you have my program? How much is it going
Mhm.
to cost me? Will I get in, like you said, and how long is it going to take me to finish?
Definitely. Yeah. I think the other thing too, just a quick mention, is we do takeovers on our website too. And so if we'll have what's called a Vandal Ready Day in March, and that day is the day that students can get up to sign up for housing. They can start getting advising and getting signed up for their classes. They can come to our admitted student day and get signed up for that, orientation, IDs, all the different things. And so we put that in one site as well, and we'll highlight that the week or so leading up to that event on the homepage as well, and change for a short period of time to then get to student where they need to go. Again, just we have a lot of first generation students. We have a lot of students and parents that are, I don't know what to do next. What's next? And so we really put it right up front and center of like, here's the things you need to do. Here's how you do it. If you don't know how to get to those things or need help with it, here's how you contact us, and here's how you work with us, and all the different areas across campus. Like I mentioned, from housing to advising to financial aid to admissions, everywhere in between, we have a way that you can connect with who you need to connect with.
Yeah, it's great. And it's, it sounds like a culture shift has been happening at the University of Idaho. And you mentioned it here while we're talking, but also in our pre-interview, you talked about specifically support from university leadership for marketing, including providing resources. But explain, I mean, tell us about why specifically for this project that's important, but more generally, your thoughts on across higher ed, why leadership buy-in is so vital for marketing.
Yeah, leadership buy-in is so important on those areas. If you don't have the resources and if you don't have the buy-in and the understanding of what you need to get done, it's just so hard. You're fighting a kind of constant upstream battle of what you need to do. And when you can articulate to leadership and leadership understands that this is what we need to get done to make effective decisions, then that really is a game changer for how things get done. And I think really too, um, as we work across campus with different various areas of leadership, it's really important to kind of show and get that trust. A lot of times in the early stages of when we were changing things, it's kind of like, well, I don't know. I don't think it'll work. And so you get a couple easy wins and you show like, well, we won here. Everyone starts to win it. And like, well, I want to be part of that. I see that college over there is doing that, and I see that department over there is doing that. Well, I want to do that too. And that's kind of how we got people into Slate as well, is where you find the people that are wanting to do the changes and that are wanting to be a good partner with you. You partner with them. And then the people that maybe are, I don't know, or I'm going to wait to see what happens. They see that the team starts winning, and then I want to be a part of that too. And that's kind of changes how the culture changes, how people change, and how we do things differently now. Is just we start winning and we start doing well in a lot of different things, and people want to be a part of that. And I think that really having the leadership at a higher level back that really will be a game changing situation for so many different colleges and universities. If you haven't been doing it for the last few years, now is the time. The enrollment cliff is happening. It's going to be more and more competitive. Students have more options. Some students aren't even going to college too. So we have to also promote the idea of why you should be going to college and the reasons for it. And again, the reason that we do the website that we do is we want to get away from the clutter. We want to get away from the noise, and we want to create this seamless, frictionless website where if you want to be here, we want you to be here, and we're going to help you do those things. That's going to be connecting you with somebody, a faculty member, connecting you with a student in a major, or creating a process where you need to get some help with financial aid. We're going to get you there and show you how to do it as easy as possible. We're not always perfect, but that's kind of why we're in higher education, because we're always learning. And that's why we do those after action reports. We have those discussions and we change and we look at the data and says, here's where the things that the students are looking for. This is when we need to do it. And this is how we're going to do it. And then really kind of getting everybody on board to do those type of things. And that's been the real key for us, is just getting everybody on board, making it as easy as possible, and then telling a really, really good story at the University of Idaho.
Yeah, that's great. And I can't stress enough that leadership buy-in is not just having a lot of expectations and not providing the resources. You mentioned how important resources are. So
100%.
it's an important piece there. Before we wrap up, I just want to remind listeners, do us a favor, rate, subscribe, review the show and the episode if you like what we're doing here. As we wrap up, let's talk results. How are you measuring success of this project? And then, what early or maybe late stage results have you seen so far?
Yeah, I think really in general, the question I would receive a lot of times when we start new projects is most people just want to see the end. The so what? So what? We did all these things. We did this. We did that. We did that. What's the bottom line? And so as we've made this kind of culture change and culture shift, we've now experienced not one, but not two, but three record enrollment classes. And so that's really, really huge for us. It allows us to do more. It allows us to go and do more projects. We've kind of got that trust of the campus that we can go do more, and people want to be a part of that. Going back to that winning bandwagon kind of mindset, where now we can do more. But what we're looking for, we're always doing the analytics for our website. We're trying to see who's going and who's doing what and where they're going, and we're always looking at how do we do SEO better and how do we make the RFI better. So one of the things that we're doing right now is we've created a short RFI to make it less intrusive, so we're not asking so many questions based on some of the data that we've seen. But we're hearing like people didn't want to fill out a long form, and so we've kind of condensed it, and then we've added on to that and kind of done those type of things. We've seen just in the first few months, more people were going and scrolling down to those calls to actions that I mentioned earlier. It's like, I want to apply, I want to visit. And so we're seeing more time on page. We're seeing, as an example, like our Zemi community. Our Zemi community is just like skyrocketed up because more and more people are engaged with that. They see that they want to have opportunity to meet current students and future friends and things like that. And so all the data that we're doing, we're trying to make data informed decisions all the time. And we have so many different eyes on it. I think that's the real big key too, is we have so many people, so many different types of people and so many different levels of teams that are looking at things so enrollment centric that they see it differently. I'm not going to be able to go and see it 100 different ways, but we have people that can be like, if we tweak this just a little bit, we might be able to do better. That might be from our digital ads, or maybe just a little bit of site design for our web, or maybe it's a Slate form, or maybe it's something in Slate that could be slightly tweaked. And so it's really just kind of getting everybody together and knowing too, I think we talk about culture, but we also talk about, I think this is something we're always working on, but we talk about we're in higher education, so we're always learning. And so if I see something that could be like, that could be a little bit better, the approach that we take with people is that we're trying to make this better. We're not calling you out. We're not saying you're doing a bad job. It's like, here's something, we want you to be a part of this. Help us figure out what's best for the student and figure out how do we make things better. And so as people start to get that, they realize that it's not a personalized, I don't use the word attack, but like, it's not personal against them. It's just that we're learning how to do it better. They're part of the process. They get on that bandwagon and then keep winning. And we're looking really good, knock on wood, for our 4th year in a row as well. And we're excited about that. And I think that kind of generates a little bit of pride on the campus. It generates like this energy of let's do more, let's do better, and all the things that we want to do. So yeah, really excited to kind of say that all the metrics that we look for and all the things that we're trying to do continuing to go up. And I know that's not the case across the country and other campuses and universities and colleges. So
Yeah, you're right about that. And I was going to say 3 years of record enrollment is pretty good mic drop to have. Is talk about proof of concept.
for sure, it's not just one thing, it's multiple things that we've done, and so many different great team members, and so much of a great community that has done this. So we've always we always will have challenges, but what's great about the community and great about the campus and the University of Idaho is that we figure it out together. And that kind of culture change has really been in the last few years, and it's been very much an honor to be a part of that. And again, just super proud of the things that we're doing. But it's really one big group team effort, but a lot of different things that are happening all across campus to make it happen.
Yeah, that's great. The real essence of breaking silos. I appreciate your time, Adam, and your insights, and really kudos on the website. It looks great. It's everything a higher ed website should be. So wishing you all continued success there.
Breaking Silos is part of the Enrollify podcast network. If you like this podcast, chances are you'll like other Enrollify shows too. Our podcast network is growing by the month, and we've got a plethora of marketing, enrollment, and higher ed technology shows that are jam-packed with stories, ideas, and frameworks, all designed to empower you to be a better higher ed professional. Our shows help marketers and admissions professionals find their next big idea and feature a selection of the industry's best as your hosts. Learn from Dave Kibilds, Jenny Lee Fowler, Eddie Francis, and many more of your favorite leaders in higher ed. Enrollify is made possible by Element 451, the next generation AI student engagement platform, helping institutions create meaningful and personalized interactions with students. Learn more at element451.com.